Hey, it's Terry, your favorite no bullshit artist and business coach, and you're listening to Terry Talks, where we discuss all things taboo, uncovering art industry nonsense, grounding you in confidence and leadership to run an arts business with unwavering power and grit. Hello, hey, hi, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Terry Talks. I finally have some peace and quiet in my apartment to do some recording. There's been some construction, and I felt really called to talk about my personal beliefs around simply just showing up on IG stories. I know, many of you who are listening may be thinking, like, this is a hell no, this is a hard no, this is a no thanks. I've been showing up, quote unquote. And I think that looks, obviously, it's going to look different to everybody. But I think it's an important topic to talk about, especially when it comes to artists, because it is the front facing part of our arts businesses that a lot of us avoid, especially the introverted. So before we dive in, just a couple of reminders. February 13th is our next Valentine's. It's a Valentine's celebration together. A little love in the room, some art business talk, some problem solving, some heavy deep dive in a group mentorship setting. So if you have not yet claimed your spot, there's 10 every single month, but every month it's a different type of deep dive, it's a different type of problem solving, and a different type of interaction. And so if you have yet to experience that, you need this community more than I can even paint the picture for you. So that's one thing that's coming up in just a couple of days. And then the next thing is I'm going to be rolling out some really interesting feedback sessions that are going to be met with some more nuanced types of feedback. So like any type of document review, any type of critique, any type of studio visit. And I'd love to do more studio visits because that's something that I've been doing with our VIP breakthrough days. I've been meeting up with artists who are in the New York City area who have been inviting me into their studios. And we've been doing so many different things that have really made an impact on the way that they've moved, whether it's a creative quote unquote block, because I don't really think that blocks exist. I think that a lack of inspiration exists. That's for another episode. Anyway, so stay tuned to all of the new things that might be coming to my menu in 2024. So let's get into the juicy stuff for today. So what if I said that not showing up, not showing your face, and not storytelling in your Instagram or in whatever platform you're using as your front-facing platform is costing you art sales? It's costing you relationship building. It's costing you trust, slower growth, and, personal stagnance. And what if I told you that all of that is going to impede and be the roadblock of your business? Now, most of you know who've been following me for quite some time, I am an Instagram lover to and through. I have met some of the most talented, incredible, loving people through Instagram. And I'm so blessed to have been able to have a loving relationship with Instagram. And I know that if you're someone who needs constant breaks from social media, or if you're someone who gets burnt out really easily from the just constant activity on social media, that your relationship with social media might not be a healthy one to begin with, whether you're resistant to it, whether you're, getting imposter syndrome from people you're following, whether you're not auditing and you're not utilizing and optimizing the platform properly for business needs. Because when you think about your goal on why you even got on Instagram in the first place, like how you got here, no matter if you have 5 followers or 5,000 followers, right? Why you signed up for it, and you go back to that place, I think that will really give you some answers that either you might need to take into consideration on where you are today with that intention, or how you can go back to that place where maybe it was fun at some point. Um, I personally utilize my business account. I mean, I have different sort of outlets. I have my personal sort of the young kids call it the Finsta, where I'm just posting my workouts, posting nonsense, bullshit, thirst traps, whatever, right? That's my free zone, my family stuff. And then I have my business. And that's where my platform to sell. That's my platform to offer my incredible talents, to really showcase like what the fuck I'm most passionate about. And compartmentalizing really helps me. So if you have sort of a personal, right, professional account, that's the best type of balance that you could have. And then you could potentially have a separate account where you're sharing only personal stuff, because I think that your business account has to be professionally personal, especially when you're working for yourself. There is no separating artist from human and the person, especially if it's because, you know, that's really what that's such a big part of you. And if you're someone who wants to monetize your passion, um it becomes an even more important tool for you to use to communicate, to share with the world. And people in 2024 are utilizing the online space more than ever. Their shops and their, online sales are just like where it's at. It's not obviously the only avenue you should ever be relying on, right? There are so many different ways to communicate and share and be in touch with and build that trust. But we're talking about Instagram today. So I'm going to just kind of explain a little bit about some of the components that are included in showing up. Because you may think you're showing up, but you're really not. Maybe you're not being as honest as you could be. Maybe you're not using your voice. Maybe you're not showing your face at all. So I'm going to give you one example that I spoke to one of my clients about. And, consider we didn't have commercials at all. We didn't have those mannequins in Macy's. We didn't have models. We didn't have campaigns, right? I just recently saw the new Ralph Lauren campaign and I fell in love immediately. But if I didn't see it on those sweaters on a body, if I didn't see, a commercial about a new razor blade for my legs, if I didn't see an infomercial, which they still exist and they still fucking work, if the QVC days, I don't know how old you are, but QVC is like a fucking crazy platform for just sales, small businesses, big businesses, and new, up and coming like items that are coming out of big brands. And that's how a lot of people have started. But just like picture no billboards, none of it, none of the advertising stuff, right? How would that slow down their sales? How would people be able to connect with clothes, products, cars, right? Like lifestyle. A lot of us use Pinterest for inspiration when it comes to like we're redesigning our bedrooms or we were looking at color palettes. So if you're not showing up on Instagram stories by exploring the capabilities of inviting us into your space, your sacred space that now needs to be shared, because we want to know, not only do we have FOMO, but we're nosy as fuck and we want to hear your story. And I think a part of that is that we often think no one's listening, or we get too scared and intimidated and we don't go on at all because we're assuming that everyone's looking. Now, neither of those are true. So when you think about going on stories, it's more like you're courting us. It's time to date. It's time to build that trust. And we are listening. We want to hear your story. We don't want to hear anyone else's, or we wouldn't be tuning in. And we want it to be as genuine as possible. So if you're feeling forced in the beginning, that's kind of normal. It's pretty fucking normal, to be honest, because Instagram or any social media platform that takes you out of your comfort zone is going to be challenging. It's like, okay, I'm going to change my breakfast routine. This shit's going to suck the first week. And then I'm going to see the benefits. And then I'm going to feel more energized in the morning after my banana and after my eggs. And I'm going to see the gains from protein. I mean, like, it's going to be uncomfortable. That's inevitable. But we're adults and we should be able to deal with that shit because things are uncomfortable. I don't feel like waking up at 9 a.m. And don't at me if you wake up at 7 a.m. naturally. I envy you. So when I think about those who don't show up on stories, I'm like, damn, you are missing such an incredible opportunity to talk to me. Date me, don't reject me. And don't make an assumption about me before you've even tried. Because these habits are healthy for your business if you are able to create a healthy relationship with Instagram. Doesn't mean you've got to be on stories every day like I am. You don't have to say hi to me every day. We're not in a relationship yet. But I know that it is such a missed opportunity that you can leverage very easily. And I say easy because it's available to you for free. But that doesn't mean that obviously, I want to push aside the innate sort of intimidation that comes with being there. I do have a podcast training that I've actually put on YouTube. It's private, but I'm going to make it available as a bundle. But inside there is Instagram for Introverts that will give you ideas on ways to truly show us who you are, what your likes are, what your dislikes are, what you're going through, and I'm not talking about I don't need to know about your sex life, but anything that is personally professional related to your arts business, things that inspire you. Maybe you saw, a burning car outside and that somehow brought up a lot of thoughts for you. Social media is a great platform to share that on and to find common ground with the people who are following you, who love you, who are so interested in your story. Imagine we both go to the same bar. We don't know each other, but I think you're cute and I want to get to know you, right? And then the context of this would be that I go into a gallery, maybe it's your opening, we don't know each other, and I see a piece of artwork that I'm in love with, but we never talk. You're too busy for me, you're hiding in the corner, right? You're rejecting me, and I'm feeling lonely. So that lack of interest in dating me is going to deter me from knowing what you sell, from knowing what you have to offer, from knowing how incredible of a human and artist you are and how long you've been doing this. Because listen, you're going to make art regardless. But go back to your intention. Go back to your purpose. Go back to why you even do this shit. And, I used to not be able to answer that question. I actually fucking hate that question. I'm like, why do you need to know my why? But when I tell my story, it already answers the why. I don't need to say, this is why I paint birds. I don't need to say that anymore because people have gotten to know me and they've gotten to know what I enjoy. So if you've been following for a while, you know that my car is the mothership. And that is something a lot of great ideas come out and are sort of downloaded in my vehicle that I drive constantly. I have separation anxiety when it's in the shop. I love the freedom of the window down and just following the GPS and just going when I please, right? But why would are there other people who sit in their car for 10 minutes after they've driven somewhere? Maybe it's just in front of their house. And that little tiny detail about me could draw someone into my space so quickly, so magically, with a drop of a hat. They might not know my first name, but they know that we both like to chill in the car. And then they're invited into my space all of a sudden. So I want to just like kind of pause here. And I am looking forward to hearing your comments. I'm looking forward to hearing what resonates with you and how you're utilizing the inspiration you are feeling now to implement into your own habits, because being on social media is a built habit and is a relationship between you and social media that grows over time. It's not going to be an instant, selling platform. Even people who are, have accolades and who are gallery represented and all that shit, like, you want to bridge the gap between you and the screen and the people who are on the other side. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Um, if you are interested in a one-on-one call, those are always available on a rolling basis. If you're interested in any audits on your business and parts of your business, whether it's an Instagram audit and you would like to leverage and optimize, like, maybe it's not working as good as you want it to work, but maybe there are some gaps that you could be filling in what already exists on the platform. So feel free to reach out. Feel free to look at the links in my bio. And if you have not yet signed up for my email list, I highly encourage you to take 30 seconds to do that, because I send out different information in my emails. I like to be creative on different platforms. I like to use them in different ways, or else shit, I'm just going to be bored altogether. And that to me is not a healthy relationship with my business. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope it had an impact on maybe a blip in your mindset. And wherever you are, I hope you're doing well. Have a great rest of your day, depending on what time it is there. Peace out.